Is not a good way to live, Miss
I'm
Teresa.
jealous. I'm telling you what I felt. I felt jealous.
Good morning and welcome to Ag Talking Raw, where we talk raw about Teresa's jealousy issues, about orchids and other flowers and things. Well, not really, but we're going to talk. Me and Teresa were actually in a conversation there, and it kind of got, I was already recording. She didn't know. But anyhow, what have we learned in the last couple of days? That you do not shoot possums on YouTube. That will get you demonetized very quickly. Other things that we've learned. Don't drive down Route 29 because it pisses off the cops. We know what that is. If you're wondering what the hell I'm talking about, it is the current state of some of the people in my lives. Or not really. What the farm girl shot a possum online and she got a strike against her. She's in YouTube jail. Welcome to the rest of us, and us outlaws, I love being an outlaw sometimes. I know Carl, my driver, he doesn't like me being an outlaw, but that's just too damn bad. So anyways, let's get on with the program here, maybe. I have to actually go to my Creator Studio and then see what I had the last time I was on here, because I forget. Yep, old age is setting in. So I'm going to kind of cancel that out, and I'm just going to read off some questions. I mean, we got some really good ones the last couple of videos that I've done, and most all the questions that I get are valid and worthy of reading. The problem is I don't get the chance to read them all when I want to. Okay, this one here, this was posted a day ago. Mr. Bogayon, or Mr. Boogie One. I think it's Mr. Boogie One. Anyways, America, land of the free, home of the taxed, along with the regulations from each state that we are expected to know. Put a DOT number on your vehicle and watch the regulations really build. I remember when I drove fertilizer truck, that all we worried about was a license, and in Georgia, a tarp on our load. My license was good up to something like 33,000 gross weight. Sometimes I'd be 38,000. Then crossing bridges with 20,000-pound road limits. They didn't care because we were just country boys hauling something a farmer needed. And we had a certain amount of time to get it there. Well, that's about what I just went through with. I had to go to court yesterday. And I got to go to court again because the police officer was not there to... they're going to have to dismiss the ticket because he wrote it out wrong. And if they don't dismiss the ticket, then I got to go hire a lawyer, and we are going to get it dismissed because that's a load of horse shit. Let me drink my coffee. And this is the Marauders map. Okay. It's time for peeps to wake up. Tammy Sanford. I don't know who Tammy Sanford is, but okay, you're correct. Was that a joke? I'm Republican because I didn't think anyone deserved to get anything unless they earned it. Ha ha. Republicans just borrowed $1.5 trillion and gave 83% of it to the 1% wealthiest Americans as a belated Christmas present. How the fuck did they earn it? Dumbass. Okay, so I'm the dumbass? Alright, that's okay. I watched a television show yesterday, which I try not to watch too much. I try not to watch too much TV, but I like to watch educational stuff like, what the hell was that? It was National Geographic. Real journalism is not fake news. Nobody is a journalist anymore. They don't do their job. They do what they're told by the networks. If they don't do what they're told by the bosses, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? They no longer have a job. So, anyway, we're going to read this guy. Brainwashing. Is immigration really at an all-time high with hordes of murderers streaming over our southern borders, or are you brainwashed? Let's look it up, shall we? Illegals coming across the Mexican border is at a 47-year low. Well, yeah, since Obama since Obama left office, it is. There are 70,000 cars that cross into at Southern California every day, with only 40,000 cars leaving it. So if there's 70,000 cars coming into the United States, where the hell are they coming from? And if there's only 40,000 of them going back out of that particular entry. Where's the other, 30,000 cars? Where there's at least 30,000 people with probably, if I know anything about smugglers, they put like 20 people in a car. But by the way, when you get here, they break the laws at lower rates than Americans do and start new business at higher rates. Don't believe the facts. Simple Google. Hey. Okay, so what I was saying about the National Geographic was that I was watching that show, and the coyotes, or the people smugglers of that cross people across the southern border, they have a really neat scam going on right now that scam these illegal immigrants. And this is a cold hard fact because it just is what's really going on down there. Okay, so here I am. I'm a Guatemalan, and I really want to come to the United States. Legally, the money that they're spending, they could get here legally for less. It just blows my mind that they are brainwashed into thinking that they cannot come to the United States for less than $3,000. Less than $3,000. So they pay the coyote. The coyote gets paid $3,000 to get them across the border. Then they go into these flop houses, as I call them, or staging houses, as the Border Patrol calls them, and they sit there for, till their debt is paid. Now, they've paid $3,000 to get them across the border. They're there. They're in the flop house, and they have to come up with another $2,000 US to get them out of that house or to their final destinations. Now, so if you got 25 people, they show up and they're in the flop house or the staging house, and everybody but 2 or 3 people, male, female, don't have the money. So what is to happen to those people that can't come up with the $2,000? Well, here it is. They're sold. They become human traffickers. People trafficking is the act of taking people from across the border to our side of the border. That's people trafficking. Human trafficking is when they become slaves to the people that didn't get the money that they claim they were supposed to get. So, if you're a female and you're somewhat attractive, you go into the sex trade. They will be sold to sex traffickers, strip dancers, lap dancers, and prostitutes. That is the cold hard facts of that. A lot of people don't know this, but I was totally blown away that National Geographic was actually showing what really goes on the border. Now, I could trust National Geographic. National Geographic shows me titties in their magazines when I was a kid and called it art, or the way people really, the way people really lived. Okay. So I think that National Geographic is making an accurate depiction or advertisement for what is really going on down there. If you're a man and you haven't been able to pay your fee, you become a slave to someone else. You're sold. You are sold to someone that basically does day labor. Your life isn't so bad because you go and you lay bricks and there's scores of videos on YouTube of these uneducated men that are, have a power tool and they're scraping cement off of a wall with a power tool without ever using a power tool. They're just using it as a scraper. So those people they get to do that. If you're an old man and you are of no value to anyone, they take what little money that you have, beat the ever-loving shit out of you, drag you off to the desert, and dump you. And either you crawl back across the border, or you die. Your life expectancy in the desert is about 6 hours without water. They don't give you water and food. They dump your beaten carcass, so you're already compromised. You have nothing, no money, they take your shoes. If you have decent shoes, they take everything. They take everything they can take off of you, and they leave you there to die. So I think the old men, they get the better deal out of it, because if you're an attractive young lady and you're sold into the sex slavery, you're there for a very, very long time. They don't keep track of your debt. You're a cash cow at that point. You are a sex slave, and that is exactly what you are going to be. So, if they don't stop the people crossing at the wall, or at the border, if they don't build that wall, people will continue to be brought into the sex trade. I mean, those red light districts in cities that we never go to, you know, country folks or even city folks that walk down the streets like this. I mean, if you've ever been in the city, this is how they look. They walk like this. They see nothing around them but what is directly in front of them. The taxi cab, their BMW, whatever it is, their home, their families. And these people that have been trafficked in to do things that they wouldn't normally do, but they have to do, or they threaten to kill them and their family back in Guatemala or wherever they're from. So, anyways, if I'm so naive and stupid about the people that are crossing the border, it's called illegal alien for a reason. They come here illegally. The things that happen to them afterwards, if they don't have a family member that's already established here, or they cannot afford to get these coyotes paid off, they become slaves. Sorry about your luck. That's just the way it is. And if they are sold to one person and that person has no use for them, they get sold again. If that person doesn't have any use for them, then bam, they're gone. And it's just like trading a car. They are worth $2,000 US. So everybody, hey, this guy couldn't afford, I need my money out of it. What can you do with them? So they pay the $2,000 or $3,000 or whatever they pay for them. Boom. They got their money. They don't give a shit what happens to these people. They don't speak English. They have no skills. They're just trying to get to the United States where everything is free and wonderful. So Ron Reichel or Ryle, you're a fucking moron. Okay. So George L. Orwell wrote another book you should read called Animal Farm. Read Animal Farm, watched the movie. It is about communism and how it will not work. Communism, it was communism. I don't think it was social. It was communism. So, yeah, read that one too. Very good writer. I live in Michigan. A lot of what you hear of Dearborn is a lie. It is not an ISIS state yet. I live 2 hours from Dearborn and 1 hour from Coldwater. I have never seen a road sign in Arabic. I never said anything about Dearborn, Michigan. I'm sorry. JC Lawn 51, I never did, so I'm going to stop reading yours now. Wes, you are dead on, my friend. As you know, I live in Michigan, about 25 minutes from downtown Detroit. But anyway, I also live about a half an hour from Dearborn, Michigan. Talk about Holy Hulk Bar, Holy Akbar, yeah, okay. Allahu Akbar, I think is how it's pronounced. LOL, yeah, it's disgusting. You can't even breathe the air unless you love the scent of armpits. Curry and piss all mixed together. Seriously, it's the fucking Middle East right here in America. Actually, it's the largest collection of those sand coons besides the Middle East. Sand coons? We always call them camel jockeys, but sand coon, my goodness. The signs on the stores, etc., are in Arabic. All the women are walking around covered in black sheets and so on. Makes me sick. If you can't tell, take it easy. Thanks for the vid. Jamie from Michigan. Yeah, okay, so I've never been to Dearborn. Maybe that's what JC Lawn 51 is talking about. Here in New Jersey, we have Camden, New Jersey. That is a no-go zone. Those are rolling stops only. If you do find yourself lost in Camden, New Jersey, even in the broad daylight, you roll through. Do not stop in Camden, New Jersey. You will not come out. Yeah, it's scary. It is all the money-making scheme the government uses. Safety as propaganda tool to make money. They couldn't care less if you live or die as long as you pay. Yeah, that's taxation in general. Here's the Cowboy Dave. Unfortunately, we live in a world where nobody wants to take personal responsibility anymore, either. It is always someone else's fault. Burned yourself on a hot cup of coffee? Obviously, it's Tim Hortons. You're from Canada. Fault. Not your own stupidity. Ruined a tire because you drove on a flat for an hour? Obviously, it's Michelin's fault. I miss the days when if you were an idiot, it was nobody else's fault but your own. Me too. I do too. And I really think it started, I think it started in the late 70s, to be honest with you, into the 80s, you know. My dad's going to sue your dad. I mean, if you never heard that, you didn't grow up in the 80s. I think that was every idiot's kid's, you know, go-to term. My dad's going to sue your dad. I'll never forget it as long as I live, man. I get to school and, hi, you know, and you know the kids that were farm kids because you went to the fair with them and other things like that, and then you're in kindergarten, you know, and you know, the country kids all are country kids, farm kids. And then you have the kids that their parents came from the cities, and it was a totally different mentality. As you know, they dropped their crayon on the ground and somebody stepped on it. Well, it wasn't their fault that they set the crayon on the edge of the table. It was your fault because you jiggled the thing. Well, keep track of your shit, dude. That's the way I always figured. But anyways, I had to read 1984 and 1972 in high school. Pretty good read back then. Well, that was the year I was born, in 1972. And it's still a good read today. OAN is another good news source. Yes, it is. I have actually watched that. My mom and dad have that. I don't have it here at the house. Like I said, I try not to watch too much boob tube. It's ridiculous. If you're wondering what a boob tube is, it is the other term the television is referred to the boob tube because it was a tube. It wasn't a flat screen. And the boobs were all the kids that stood around watching Bugs Bunny. We were boob tubers. You know, not YouTubers, boob tubers. So, USA had conservative censored news for years. I've been visiting the U.S. almost every year for 17 years. I can't believe the rubbish you guys get fed. You are told what they want you to hear. Thank you, Gary6420. I agree. Yeah. The National Guard should use M1A4 Abrams tanks and Bradleys at the border to turn a group of future Democrats into a pile of dog food. Well, yeah, they need to stop that. Actually, you know who needs to stop it? It isn't the United States. It should be stopped in Mexico. Mexico should not be allowing illegals to pass through their country to get to ours. They just shouldn't. You know, I mean, if there's a caravan, you know, the thing that really blew my mind is, and I got to tell you, I'm watching Fox News, and they're like, there's a caravan of like almost 2,000 future illegal immigrants headed towards the United States border. And, okay, great. You know, Donald Trump is going to stop them somehow. That was before the National Guard got out. Then I said to my dad, because I see my mom and dad every day. I stopped in and I said to Dad, I said, why don't you switch over to CNN? I want to see what they're saying. Oh, well, they're in Mexico. CNN's in Mexico, and they got the microphone like this to this Spanish-speaking woman. This is a humanitarian convoy. We're just trying to get these people a better life. Okay. All right. If you were so concerned about their life, you wouldn't have taken their money to drive them through Mexico to drop them off in a flop house or a staging house where they have to come up with another $2,000+ to pay to get them out of that place to their family members that are already legal or illegal living here. So, wow, that's not caring for them. If you took their $3,000, you could have easily hired them a lawyer here in the United States or a lawyer in wherever, and got them legal, safe passage to the United States where they could start their new life. That's how it works. It doesn't, this humanitarian thing, fuck you, you're stupid. And if you think that was a humanitarian convoy, you're crazy. Those people were going to unimaginable pain. They were leaving what they thought was the worst situation in the world, but they were heading to something that was way worse. Could you imagine somebody owning you? And I'm not kidding you. They will be owned by someone. They will have no choice but to live on a mattress that had been pissed on by 50 million people that had gone there before them, and maybe they don't get out of there, you know. Maybe they don't get out of there for a long time. I mean, they were talking on National Geographic that some of these girls were seeing as many as 70 men a day. Could you imagine that? If you're a female, could you imagine that? I couldn't. I don't know. They don't need to arrest these people. They need to put a bullet in their head. Little vigilante justice needs to take place on that one. Jews on both sides of the media and plays both sides, divide and conquer. So now we're going to blame it on an ethnicity or a religious sect. Nice. Okay, you can okay and leave. You're okay to leave. You are an idiot. Why is it the Jews? Why is it? I mean, come on. That is so over with, you idiot. There's also a movie made from the book 1984 for people like me who can't read. Well, go on riding. You're correct. There is a movie. It was made in the 1950s. I don't like it. I don't like the movie. I read, obviously I listen to books on tape, so I didn't read it. It was read to me. So what an awesome way to listen. You can listen to them on tape. It's better than the movie. Because you can't take a day and a half worth of reading if you read it cover to cover in a day and a half, which is what it would take. You can't watch that in an hour and a half on a movie screen. I'm sorry. There's too much detail in a book. It's like the people that claim they know the Harry Potter series inside and out. Well, you can watch it, but there's a lot of misinformation in the movies. Or there's a lot of scenes in the movies that refer to the book that the people that watch the movies have no idea why it was happening. Same thing with The Lord of the Rings. Yep. And I read those too. I actually read those. I didn't have them read to me. Concerning 1984, on YouTube search on London to CCTV, that is what is coming everywhere. Good or bad, you decide. I think it's bad. Orwell was a visionary, of course. Yep. If you're not aware, your illegals are coming to Canada through U.S. via Mexico. Most are not Mexican, but African, Middle East. Build a fucking wall already. I wasn't aware the Great Lakes freeze over. It's land crossings. Well, I was told by someone. I don't know. I've never been to the lakes that when they've been frozen, so I really don't. I can claim ignorance on that one. So if you're telling me that the lakes don't freeze over, maybe they don't freeze solid, but they do freeze around the edges, don't they? I mean, they don't build fences out across frozen lakes. It's too bad the U.S. and Canada don't get together to make that wall happen if it would benefit both countries. I wonder if the Canadian government has ever discussed this with the U.S. The lakes are shut down to shipping for a couple of months every year due to ice. So, yes, there is ice out there. So they do freeze to a degree. Now, I mean, a human being can walk across 4 inches of ice. They can. I've done it. Is it safe? No, but these people want to get someplace. They don't care. But anyway, I'm not saying that they do or don't. I'm unaware, but maybe I misspoke. Or maybe my misinformation has caused me to speak something I really don't know that much about. But whatever it is, if they're crossing from the Canadian border, I do know that there's places on the U.S.-Canadian border that there is no gates. It's just open fields, and you walk across them. That's it. You walk across the field and bada bing, bada boom, you're American. Yay, welfare. I guess you need to Google state laws while you're driving to find out if you need to pull over or not to use your phone. That's true. Yeah, right? Thanks for not effing the Diebold today. I don't know what the hell that is. I do agree with your immigration. I feel the same here in England. If you want to live here, do it legally. Don't come over here and live illegally. Well, with the European Union, that has caused a lot of migration, undocumented migration between those countries. And, over there, countries are like states, and I really don't think that it should be free flow between them because they're not the United States. I mean, if they all got together, and said, hey, we're going to become the united whatever of Europe, and they all followed the same laws, and they all spoke the same language, which isn't going to happen. Basically, Europe is tribes. They're tribes that fought for their borders, and that's what they have, and they called them countries. And I don't know. The United States is very unique when it comes to that, I guess. Everyone else calls their states provinces and things like that, but oh well. Yeah, this was something that I always thought. Patty Veit, V-I-E-D-T. Phones are computerized and have GPS. They need to be programmed to not function if GPS senses motion. Well, not motion, but motion over, say, 25 miles an hour. Or 20 miles an hour. Who's going to pick your salad and tomatoes in the southern states? Or doing the dirty jobs like transporting trash? U.S. Americans are too lazy for that. That seatbelt talk was total crap. If you die in the accident, just a burial will cost. But if you are injured and lay as a vegetable the rest of your life, so who is paying your care? I think it's proven that safety belt will reduce healthcare costs. Well, let's put it this way. I guess it's your responsibility if you didn't put your seatbelt on and you got hurt. It's not the government's responsibility to take care of your stupid ass. It's yours. If you can't afford it, then you die. Sorry. Sorry about your luck. Yeah, sorry about your luck. I don't know. Do stupid things, take responsibility. That's all it is. Anyway, I guess now here's one. I had to get that Trudeau or whatever the hell his name is. Our dumbass prime minister has to go. I totally agree with you about our dumbass. Hi from Canada. Yeah, I think he's pretty stupid, but I don't want his job. I don't want our president's job either. All right, 20 minutes of me rambling on, I guess, is more than enough, so I'm going to go eat my breakfast. Thanks for watching.